Hello everyone, and in this video that is a follow-up for the article that I'm writing on dev.to for AWS Community Builder, which is about the part one. It is the general overview of MLOps in both culture and technology inside AWS. We want to see how this technology, how we can use it. This video it's about seeing the general view of these pipelines and how it's work. And AWS actually provide us with many tools for doing these things. It's a start that we can. There is a different approach. You can achieve MLOps pipelines and things like this with the different tools and technology. Maybe you can use Kubeflow on top of Kubernetes. It is okay inside AWS. Maybe you want to also add some kind of extra tools like using ML flow and other stuff. It is okay, but also maybe you can trigger some kind of places in the pipeline using AWS Lambda, and it's okay. But I'm now talking about the AWS SageMaker pipeline, which is a very convenient way. But currently we are outside of the pipeline. I want to talk about the general things. So the general thing is that since we talking about building a culture of MLOps inside our organization, we have set in some kind of goals. You can check it from the articles. But the thing I want you to remember that what we wanted to do, we want pipeline as one of the our goals, or that at least we want to do some kind of pipeline for serving and training, and we can hit retraining and things like this based on specific kind of criteria. And we also want to have a model registry so we can register a model. We can know the version of models. We maybe reject or accept a model. Also, we want a feature store, and this is a crucial part in our work. And there is a lot of things inside AWS that we can benefit from. So one of the first things is that the AWS way by productionizing these things. Let me while we're talking, let me show you that the thing that's called a project inside AWS SageMaker Studio. Now there is actually, you can start an empty template, or you can start a pre-made template for you that done by AWS itself. And I just want to use any one of the simple those of the thing. Uh, Actually, you just give a name for the project. I wanted to make a quick video, and I'll give you some kind of helicopter view so you have the general understanding, and then we can deep dive in each part of this puzzle alone. But I want you to know that this kind of things, this thing is not just related by technology. You have to set up some kind of foundation, some kind of mentality around what is the job of this team, and what I have to provide as an environment for this team. And then you will dig into on what I expect and what the goals that I want, and then like this. And then I have to dig deep into the technology. There is a lot of tools there outside there. Maybe those of you will prefer combining some kind of open source tool, and that other that I may be preferring doing the work with AWS with these tools that been built by them, by the way. Because what? Okay, let me give you something. Firstly, that for me, I'm a VP of engineer. It's at a company. We are not a very very big company, but our size is not so that big. We have some kind of a good number of team, and it's maybe you can call it small team for doing the ML things. Now, I don't want to overhead the operation and engineers that I have, and also the team that I have with the managing, debugging, and productionizing the tool than productionizing the work. while you are not going here to spend any money on when you're using any kind of service that is given by the service itself is free in AWS, but you pay for what you use from the storage or from the compute resources, which is already you will do when you're working with the open source tool. You will uninstall it on some kind of infrastructure. So I prefer to sit on the top of giant shoulders and doing this, okay? And because that you have a specific kind of target, you want your you want to reduce the overhead on your mind, and you want to have some kind of aims that you want to do. While this is creating now, this is we so we don't want to go farther. I don't want to just give my reasons, but this is my reasons that I'm going with these tools. But actually, you can try your maximizing, combining any project that you have, any open source tool that you have. Okay, let me just cloning this. Let me just see the repo names. So this is a model build, and this is model deploy. Let me clone these for you, so we can dig into the code. And just we have to wait on it, and let's just also cloning this, and we can go to the. Okay. So here's thing that I wanted to show you. So the first thing is that we have different kind of thing. The first thing that, without getting back to these pipelines, let me just be here. I want to talk about the pipelines. So the pipeline itself, if you can go to here, if you're familiar with Kubeflow or thing like this, you will actually going to see it the same way. Now this is if you have a model group, this is the endpoint. So it is totally that if you understand the project, the MLOps, the AWS SageMaker project is some kind of uh, a folder or any kind of thing that's group the whole life cycle of your ML project inside it. So there is nothing missing. Everything you want it will be, we will find it inside it. I'm just going to see that this is creating. So let's just go to the code itself. So this is the model build. Let me show you the notebook. So just cancel this. What I want to show you, let's jump to the code without checking. This is, if you want to know, this is simply that we wanted to make a session, we want to connect and get permissions. Now, and what inside this is that they're saying that uh, we wanted to do a pipeline from get pipeline, and this is the pipelines, by the way, and this is the get pipeline. So let's see how they're building this pipeline. So as you can see in here that there is a pipeline definition, and then we are going to open this pipeline definition. Okay, so here is the pipeline. So what's happening is here. So let's understand it step by step. So there has to be some kind of steps for you to build your pipeline. The first thing is that what we wanted to see, let's see in this get pipeline. Okay, so there is a pre-processing step, whatever it is, and this is a pre-processing step. It's have some kind of machine that will doing the pre-processing, and there is a training step, and this is the machine that will do the training, and this is the parameter for it. Now, what they will doing is here that we will using the a scalar processor, and this is this container. It is inside AWS, so you can benefit from it using if you need a scalar for processing your work. So there is a step of process, and this is the thing that you want to get note of when you work with the AWS SageMaker pipeline. So this is step of processing. It is saying that we have the processor, a scalar, and this processor have this output. Okay, and then we will use the processing dot py. Now we getting the model path, and then we taking the image for the container image for the XGBoost, and this is the training job. And then what we wanted is there we are building an estimator that we give it the image name, then the type that we want it to work, and we also that we give it the name and also the model output path and the rule. And here we're setting the parameter, and here is the training step. So here's the thing that we're building a processing step and we're building a training step. Now this is the training step. This what is the use inside this training step. There is a validation and a training channels for the input, and then we wanted to say this is the processing, this is the training step that we define in here. Then what we will doing is here that the main idea is that we also have an evaluation step, and we setting this, and also there is a metric. I'm just reading this for you as the first time that I want you to read it with me. So, and also we setting some kind of model metric. Now we have some kind of thing that is condition. This condition will help us that when we want to organize our pipeline. I think this is some kind of this is has finished. Yes. So you can visualize it with me because I already now this is the main work that you will have. Since you already defined all of this thing here, what you're going to do is you set a pipeline. You have a pipeline name, then you have a parameter. So you're starting with a pre-processing, and then you will go to a training, and there is approval for state, and so if you're seeing here, this we setting a pipeline from pre-processing to training and approval for model approval state, which is that there is a model that has been generated for us. So this means that the training has finished. Now it's setting that the steps is steps process, then train, then evaluate, then the step condition. And as you can see, the step condition, there is a step which is evaluation, that we want to do evaluation, and there's the step condition is say that condition less than or equal to. We have a threshold that is called that this is our threshold, that if it's less or equal than 2, then well this must return some kind of true. Then the condition said check MSE, mean square error. This is based on the evaluation metrics. Then we have the condition, then we have the if, and if there is any else step, we can do it. So actually you're building a pipeline with kind of conditions. So if you want to go to the next step or not, it is whether to. So here is this is the simple way that you define a pipeline, but you have to set each of these parameter as usually when you doing any kind of sending a job for SageMaker. You already have to know this thing. If not, you have to learn the basic things of how to building your own pre-processing or training or anything that we're using and inside AWS SageMaker. Because if you're seeing here that even though we're working with these APIs and everything is easy, that if you already familiar with AWS SageMaker or not, or if you get it or not, that AWS SageMaker itself enforce you to write in a modular code, and it must be executable and things like this. Maybe you set this inside some kind of notebooks, but even if you see this notebooks, there is no code in here. Everything is scripted outside and being getting inside the work. So you enforced to write a modular code that must be run individually, and even this code will be shipped inside a container, whether it's your own container or a pre-pulled container by AWS itself. Now I just want to get back to the now if you see in here, this is the pipeline that you're talking about. This is the processing, and this is the training. And even though you can have some kind of extra things, but let's just keep it simple. And then if you're seeing that the check, this is the our condition, and then there is the model registry. Okay, so this is the simple way that you're writing a pipeline. and simply that uh, mm, this project will have, so this is the graph, this is the parameters, and this is settings, and then also that when you get back to this, there is this is model group. When a model has been created, will be registered for you, and also that you can add some kind of a step that you have to put a human in the loop, because mostly when some kind of concept drift happen, or even though the data drift that happen, most kind of thing that some kind of application, it's hard to be auto triggering the training without taking approval from a human. And also even though you have a good model, it's hard to approve it and get it to the production without getting approval with a human. Though many cases you have a human in the loop, but there is some kind of a small sample kind of cases that you will need, you can auto trigger it. So it is kind of balancing, it is kind of use case based. It is not something that there is a one silver bullet for everything. But I just want to give you one overview about all the life cycle that we talking about. That we have a pre-processing step, we have a training step, evaluation, we have a condition, we have a pipeline, orchestration. Everything is containerized, and everything is manageable. You have invisibility all the way. Also that when there is a model will be registered for us, we can we can go and if there is a hit, we can set some kind of monitoring, and also for endpoint and things like this. And AWS have many kind of monitoring that we can, and we can also do extra triggering stuff using Lambda and a CloudWatch. And also that there's a lot of stuff here that when we're talking about the pre-processing, maybe you can benefit from the data wrangler, anything like this. I don't want to get in details of this thing, because all of these things I will get it in details in specific kind of articles. I'm just wanting this video to be about the whole picture, so you can know what you expect from this. And you can see it's very easy. You don't have to overhead yourself with uninstalling Kubeflow, or making a working a cluster with Kubernetes. And also you don't have to worry about thing that's not working, anything like that's broken. Also you don't have to worry about the TensorFlow extend or TorchX, but you can use them. You can use whatever you like. But to me, when I have a team, there's this team, I already know that this team is not a production class team. Maybe I am came in with a background of software developer and sysadmin, and I have some kind of thing that I think about the production much more than I thinking about hacking into the data. But we need those data scientists and ML researchers, because they have uh, they work with very experimental environment. We want them experimental mind thinking. We want them to experiment and find the best thing they can do. But we want to give them a tool that make the work productionized secure. And this is something important, guys, that this when working on this thing, everything is based on permissions and based on IAM rules and things like this. And then when you want to consume the endpoint, is not something hard. You can then add, because our work, maybe you can see it as a symbol. We can end up with doing it continuous monitoring while we're delivering the endpoint about the the model. But this endpoint has to have some kind of integration with the software itself, because if you do a recommendation system, or you're doing some kind of image classification, or video action recognition, this has to be consumed by application. So has to be integratable with the extra stuff of CI/CD pipelines of the software team. And all of this can be managed inside one environment. And I just know that this is a video have take a long time, and will take a long time if we're waiting this to be done. But we have taken an overall overview about the main things, which is doing the pipeline, which is that if I want to get back to it, it is the way that we building the code here, which is as the end is this is the pipeline code, and this is the steps that we build in above. And thank you, and I hope that you enjoy it. Yeah, see you in next tutorials, and I hope that I can complete the series because I really want to dig into each part specifically in details with a good example.